Hello everybody, Natalia here. Today is the 15th day of October and I am back with another Nanowrimo prep video. So we all know that Nanowrimo happens over the course of November and we only have 30 days to write 50,000 words. That is a lot of words. It comes out to approximately 1,667 words a day. And if you're somebody that can write a lot and can write really fast, then this might be easy for you. But if you're somebody that struggles to get words on a blank page, then you really have to manage your time well so that you can make sure that you hit your goal of 50,000 by the end of the month. So what I have for you today are some of my tips and tricks. They're all written down here about how I manage my time, and hopefully it'll help you manage yours better as well. So the first thing that I do is during Nanowrimo, I only work in small chunks. I am not somebody who can sit down for 5 hours and just write the entire time. That will never ever work for me because I get distracted, I get bored. So when I'm writing, I typically sit down for 15 to 30 minutes. If I have a lot of time, I might try to write for an hour, but like I'm saying, typically the very small chunks of time work best for me. So if you are somebody that gets bored easily, definitely write in small chunks. My next tip is to develop a regular writing routine. So for the last Nanowrimo I participated in, I wrote very specifically in the mornings and then in the evenings. I was living at a farm during that time, and if you look back on my old videos, I talk about that. So I had to regularly be outside feeding horses, giving horseback riding lessons, taking care of the animals, etc. So I definitely had a work schedule that I had to kind of write around. So what worked for me was getting up early. I would start writing a little bit, and then I would go outside and take care of all the animals, feed the horses, make sure everybody was healthy and happy. Then I would come back inside, make myself coffee and breakfast, and then write again. And then I would typically have to go to class, work during the day, get all of my chores done, and then in the evening, I would get to write again. So I had regularly scheduled small blocks of time in which I could write, and that really helped me. Now within those small blocks of time, I really liked to do word sprints. Now what a word sprint is a scheduled amount of time. It might be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It depends on who is holding the word sprint. And during that amount of time, you write as much as possible and you don't look back. So once you hit the end of the sprint, you have a bunch of words because typically you're kind of racing against the clock, yourself, and other people. And then you will post the amount of words you had when you were done. And that always got me a bunch of words. Sometimes I would write 500 words per sprint. And that leads into my other tip, which is to stop frequently. I stop every 500 words I write. So even if I have 30 minutes of time, let's say I write 500 words in 15 minutes, then maybe I'll get up and go do something else for the rest of those 15 minutes. I don't force myself to sit there and write for a regularly scheduled amount of time. I use 500 words as my word count goal because it's enough of a push to get a lot of words on the page and to get work done, but it's not so much that I feel kind of stressed out and bogged down by it. So for you, that might be 300 words or 750 words, but personally, 500 words for me is the perfect stopping point to go and take a break. For those of you that are outliners like I am, make sure to have your outline close by, either up on a wall, like I have mine right here, or you could have it in a notebook or a journal next to you. You can have it written on sticky notes or note cards. Just make sure you have it somewhere around so that you can be regularly referring to that as you're writing. Also, another tip is when you stop writing at the end of the day or at the end of a session, try to stop writing at a cliffhanger. It doesn't necessarily have to be the end of a chapter or like a big cliffhanger for the readers, but stop before you get to something that's very exciting to write. Because I know that if I write all the way through a really exciting scene and then the next scene that's coming up is kind of boring, then I'm not excited to get back to my writing. But if you stop right before that super exciting scene, then you're going to be thinking about it and much more excited to come back to writing when you have another regularly scheduled block of time. Now, this next tip is mostly for those of you that want to go back and edit your work and potentially publish it when it's done. I know that during Nanowrimo, some people want to hit the word count goal of 50,000 so bad that they don't necessarily write 50,000 words of decent material. Sometimes they just start writing random crap that's coming to them. It might not have anything to do with your story. It might be a completely different story. It might be a character's backstory that you know isn't going to be in the final cut. So it would be my recommendation to try to avoid doing that as much as possible. Like I said, if you're going to edit and want to revise and publish this in the future, then putting that kind of stuff in your first draft is just going to cause you more grief and frustration later when you're editing it. I know that this is going to be the first super shitty draft of whatever it is you're writing. Mine is always really bad, but I want it to be the best bad that it can be, and putting in that random junk that you know you're gonna have to take out is not gonna help you in the future. Now, we all know that Nano can get really tedious and kind of stressful, so here are some of the things that I would rather be doing than writing. So you can see that many times during Nanowrimo, I want to do literally anything except write, including eating, which is all the time, chores, laundry, vacuuming, whatever it is I can do to get away from the computer and not have to look at it anymore. But it comes down to working regularly every single day. Make sure you have a routine and you're working in small chunks of time, and you will definitely reach 50,000 by the end of November. All right, thank you so much for watching this Nanowrimo prep time management video. I'll be putting more up, so keep checking back, and I will see you all later. All right, bye!